Well, let's talk now to the sports journalist Philip Barker, who's editor of the Journal of Olympic History. Good to see you, Philip. Welcome to the programme. So just how significant is this announcement?
Well, it is very significant. It's something that's going to polarise the Olympic world, not because the Olympics are amateur anymore, as they once were, but because the positioning of the Olympic Games is always that they're so much more than just a sporting event. There's something above that level, something really, really special. But it doesn't come as any surprise that athletics should lead the way, because back in the 1990s, athletics were the first to give prize money for their world championships. In fact, in 1993 in Stuttgart, the prize wasn't so much money, but a car, because Mercedes were sponsoring the championship, and each winner got a car that was valued at around $28,000. So there's a little bit of history there. They brought in cash prizes in 1997 and also incentives for breaking a world record as well. So there's that extra level. But for these games, as we understand it, the prizes will only be given for gold medals, though there is a suggestion that in 2028 for Los Angeles, prize money will be given for gold, silver and bronze in the sport of athletics.
So, Philip, you talked about the Olympics being special, and of course we haven't seen prize money offered till now. How does this announcement change the Games and perhaps the Olympic spirit?
It does. I mean, if you go back to the early times, the modern Olympics revived in 1896, and I've got an old report somewhere. It's got pages and pages of amateur regulations, because the old men who organised the Olympics in those days, and they were exclusively men, set great store by being a gentleman amateur in the Olympics. And they were even very uneasy about people competing against others who were professionals from another sport. And there were people who were actually excluded from the Olympics because if they were a cricketer and played professionally as a cricketer, they couldn't compete as a footballer in the amateur Olympics. So much, much stricter in those days. In fact, Paavo Nurmi, the most successful athlete with 9 gold medals in the 1920s, was actually banned from the 1932 Olympics because he was deemed to be a professional. So it shows just how the International Federation has changed since then.
So if we see athletics perhaps leading the way, paying competitors, how much will other sports be compelled to follow suit?
It all depends. I mean, there is the IOC they give a tranche of their income after each Olympics to each international federation that administers an Olympic sport. They don't actually release any details as to who gets the most, but it's thought that athletics, gymnastics and aquatics, that's to say swimming and diving, which are pretty much dominant sports in terms of television coverage at any given Olympics, they get the lion's share, and then there's a sort of pecking order for other sports. But certainly once you get down to the bottom, although it's still a very healthy income, it's said that getting on for half of the Olympic sports are dependent on their income from the IOC. So whether they would actually have the wherewithal to pay their athletes in this fashion is entirely another question.
Philip, great to talk to you today. Thank you for joining us. That's Philip Barker, the editor of the Journal of Olympic History.